Welcome to the Connections with Kyland podcast, where I bring on amazing guests and talk about the things, people, places, passions that we are connected to and how they impact our lives. We're here in Hollywood at Keyframe Studios. I'm very excited about my guest today because he is a dear friend, past roommate. We've lived together in multiple houses. I've gotten to watch him grow up in so many different ways. He has a YouTuber, a gamer, and his production company works not just on this channel, but on multiple channels with hundreds of thousands of followers, some with millions of followers, has helped amass millions and millions, tens of millions of views for multiple creators, and is literally, I kid you not, one of the best photographers and videographers in all of Los Angeles. Anytime I see a photo, it's the only time I've ever felt like I looked cool was when this guy took my photo. So I'm very excited to share life and times and connections with my guest, Justin Keanu.
Thank you for having me. And I will say the house that we lived at, the beach house, that was a Big Brother house before the Big Brother.
That was some real prep. Real prep. We were in. It was the first place we lived together.
15 people in and out.
I mean, it was, some call it a commune. I don't know.
It was a big house.
It was a big house. It was crazy. Very interesting times. But I'm so glad for the time we got to connect there, got to connect at the other house we lived at, and just have gotten to get to know each other and build this relationship and friendship in so many other ways over time. So I'm really excited to have you here. Thanks so much, not just for shooting the podcast for me, for Connections with Kyland, but also for now being here on the podcast. Really excited to dive into a lot of different things with you today.
Excited. Another question. Kylan, would you have voted me out from the beach house?
No.
Yeah, because I would have won.
No, you wouldn't have. Not. Okay, if the beach house was Big Brother house, you wouldn't have won, for sure.
But I wouldn't have won. What?
I don't know that I would have won. It kind of just depends. Vetoes would come into play heavily because I can see two sides of the house that would build up. And basically, if I won some key vetoes or you did even versus other people, then we would have been able to secure safety enough to vote out like their numbers and to make it to the end of the game.
Would you build an alliance with me?
Yeah, definitely. I would definitely build an alliance with you. Yeah.
What would the alliance name be?
Oh, if we had a Final Two alliance.
Yeah, Final Two.
La carne asada.
Hey, carne asada in the vegan household. In our vegan house. The man's house is all vegan.
Perfect.
Who would we have in our... This is bonus content for the beach house. Who would we have in our alliance? John?
I don't want to answer that here.
Oh, John. I'd have John.
Smart man.
No, John would be a double agent. He would be like...
No, I can trust John.
I can't trust John. John, I can't trust you. John would be all happy to see me and then talking bad behind my back. Cut. Archer. Can't clap a lot today. Maybe it's because I'm wearing a ring.
Maybe you're just weak.
Maybe. I've been slacking at the gym ever since I got hurt. I haven't lifted in a month.
What was this injury?
It was bad.
I know. I saw the picture.
You remember the electric boards from the beach house?
Yes.
So I charged my car 2 blocks down because I got a fantastic Tesla hack. Paid $3 a week to charge my Tesla.
How?
Because there's a parking garage that has free charging.
Mm-hmm.
And after 5, it's 3-hour flat rate. So I just go there after 5 and then...
Charge overnight?
Just for 4 hours and it fully charges.
Oh, 4 hours fully charges?
Yeah, right there.
So it's like a nice charger.
Yeah. And so I took my electric skateboard because it was 10 p.m. It was 2 blocks down. I was like, I'm not going to walk on the sidewalk. There's, downtown LA.
Yeah.
Sketchy characters. And so I took the board and all of a sudden it started going full speed. And those boards are fast. And I noticed, I looked down at the remote and it just disconnected. I'm just like, all right, I can't stop. It literally wouldn't stop. So I was like, all right, I have to bail because it was just a lot of potholes and everything. And when I bailed, I, did the little running thing, and I just fell down really hard, and I slid on the concrete like if it was ice. I literally slid like 10 feet, and yeah, that was probably the most I ever bled. And I went to go get X-rays. My elbow was like fat, and so it even still hurts to like fully bend my elbow right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so I also noticed I couldn't feel my skin. Like it was
Yeah.
hurting inside, but I can't feel the skin right here. So I have nerve damage. And they said that, nerve damage is really hard for your nerves to get the feeling back.
Mm-hmm.
And if I were to lift, it would, heighten the risk of my feeling not coming back in my elbow. And so I still can't really feel my elbow, so I don't think it's going to come back.
But have you seen Kick-Ass?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, what's the downside of not being able to feel?
I think it's just annoying. Like, you know how when they numb your mouth when you get, like, a feeling? It feels like that on my elbow.
Yeah, but you get used
So, like,
to
when I have my arm in my armrest, it just feels, like, fat.
Now you can just use your invulnerable elbow, though, to block attacks and not feel anything.
That's true.
So if you get in a fight with somebody who has a knife, you're like, elbow, and then you don't feel anything, it seems like a superpower to me.
Yeah, I did think about that. So, not too mad about it. It's more annoying when I'm at my arm.
You know what? Speaking of, I feel like the main guy in Kick-Ass probably should have, like, become a professional fighter instead of a semi-vigilante, because he could probably...
He wanted to help the world.
I understand that. But I think that he would probably help more people with donations. Because I was like, what would I do if I had that? And I was like, I'd probably become a professional fighter, because that would be a practical thing to do if you couldn't feel pain.
Yep, I could do unlimited elbows.
Well, yeah, you just have your elbow. But I was saying, in his case, where he has no feeling anywhere, it'd be interesting.
Yeah, I'm not as cool.
Oh, I wonder if he has other... interesting. That's, I have a lot of thoughts in that movie. I haven't revisited that in a long time. That was a really good...
I didn't even know that they had a second one, and I watched it for the first time.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I don't know how that flew over my head. I never heard of it. I saw it pop up. I forgot on what, like Hulu or HBO Max.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, shoot. And it was actually a good movie.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's pretty good.
Solid movie.
Solid film.
Entertaining.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Kingsman, though, I feel like they really caught their stride. Like, Craig's agreeing. He has questionable movie taste sometimes.
I don't care. We're breaking walls. Don't start.
The point is, he has questionable movie taste.
Like Kingsman.
Kingsman, the Secret Service? Or Her Majesty's Secret Service?
I don't think I've seen it.
Wait, you haven't seen Kingsman?
Mm-mm.
Wait. Where it's like James, like it's Aaron Egerton, Taron Egerton, whatever, British kid, and Samuel Jackson's the villain.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They had a sequel to that one too. They had two sequels, but the second sequel is a prequel.
Yeah,
and it's garbage.
I didn't see that one. I saw the first one.
But you saw the second one though too, not the prequel.
No,
the prequel's called The King's Man. The sequel is called Kingsman Golden Circle.
I think I saw that one. Is that the one where there's like a briefcase or something like? I don't remember. It's not a movie I remember. I must have not seen it.
We got to watch Kingsman. Kingsman is so good. Kingsman is fantastic. The second one's pretty good. Like, second one is very good. The first one is fantastic. It's Colin Firth. Samuel Jackson's the villain. Taron Egerton, whatever.
A lot of people assume because I'm a filmmaker, I went to film school, they're like, oh, who's your favorite director? Who's your favorite cinematographer? I'm like, I don't know. I just watch Marvel, Star Wars, anything cool like that.
No, I'm in between. I'm there with you. Like, part of why I wanted to do movie reviews too is because I love movies, but I get annoyed, for me, as a personal thing, I get annoyed when I see movie reviewers who are like, oh, you can't appreciate film unless you've seen this movie that this Norwegian director made in his garage, shooting it on his reflection in a spoon. Or just like those very fringe things. They're just like, and that's an exaggeration, but it's not that I'm saying that there can't be some amazing movies. But for me, I think that there is something to be said about mass appeal that is interesting.
Can I say something controversial?
Yes, please.
I'd rather watch a Michael Bay movie than a Christopher Nolan movie.
Okay, that's hard for me.
I'd rather watch Transformers than Tenet.
The Dark Knight.
Okay, that's different. I'm talking about like Tenet or...
That's still problematic.
What?
That is controversial.
You'd rather watch Tenet than listen to Optimus Prime speak?
I love Optimus Prime's voice, but
that's what I'm
Nolan
saying.
is peak modern filmmaking.
I'm talking
Christopher
about
Nolan,
entertainment.
Like people are like, "What's your favorite movies?" I'm like, Christopher Nolan. Like it doesn't. It's pretty much anything that he does. Pretty much is going to be one of my favorite movies. Now here's the thing. I'm very big though on what you're saying. Entertainment. Entertainment is huge, and that's what I always tell people. Is I'm always like, hey, if there's a difference between like sometimes just go see a movie to be entertained. Like sometimes I just want to see. Why are you guys like that? You and Craig are. Have you even seen Baby Driver?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you were just trying to be
movie.
problematic. Okay, yeah, it is great, but it's wait.
No, I think it's a great movie.
Okay, you think it's a great movie. Okay,
Yeah.
because it is a great movie.
Yeah, entertaining.
And now you're winning back that you might have good taste in movies back again. Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
Unlike some people who can't appreciate Baby Driver and, are decent managers and podcast producers.
Yeah, some people that might be even
terrible
sitting in this
tastes.
room.
Yeah.
Not you or I,
I
but
know. Yeah. The shall remain nameless. Like, let's just make up a name. Who would do that? Reg Buis.
yeah. Sounds about right. That guy.
No, or Craig Lewis. Who's that? John Mulaney. One of my favorite stand-up bits. He's like, you have a bad experience. He's like, I don't want to name a company. Let's just make up a name. Delta. Let's call it Delta Airlines. And just goes to drag him for this whole terrible experience he had. One of my favorite bits. But anyways, I digress. Real quick, I love entertainment movies, and I understand what you mean in terms of being entertained. But to suggest, like, so you're just saying for you'd rather watch a Michael Bay film than...
I'm talking about Transformers. I'd rather
Specifically
watch
Transformers.
Transformers rather than Tenet.
How many times have you seen
Not
Tenet?
not the latest
Were
Transformers.
you just confused with Tenet?
Like not Mark Wahlberg.
I hear what you're saying, but are you sure you just didn't get confused in Tenet?
I was more bored. I was like, I get it. They're walking backwards.
I think you just didn't get it.
How could I? The movie was going
Now
backwards.
I'm the pretentious film person. No, geez, that's become what I hate most. No, that is this is a whole movie segment. No,
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, peak cinema. That's my opinion.
that's
Endgame.
peak cinema.
Endgame.
Peak cinema.
I think Guardians of the Galaxy is up there.
You think Guardians of the Galaxy?
For its standalone movie, yes.
Oh, all right, standalone Marvel movies, not Avengers movies.
No.
What would you rank Guardians? What's it above and beneath? Guardians 3. Wait, is it above Guardians 1?
I would say so.
Okay.
I definitely love the fight scenes, and I think it had the emotional roller coaster.
Okay.
So I don't know. Overall, I was entertained. I loved the music in it, and yeah, it just looked good.
Oh my
There
gosh.
are some things I didn't agree with, which we're not gonna get into spoilers.
we don't
here.
get into spoilers.
But I think overall, I was entertained all the way through. There was not a point where I was just like, this part's kind of boring.
All
There's
right.
a lot of talking.
We'll have a 60-second spoiler conversation, and we can decide if we tack it on the end or if we just let people skip the 60 seconds. But I want to know what was the things spoiler-wise that you had issues with in Guardians 3? Because I probably had some. I haven't reflected on it enough, but I liked it and love it, and I got a lot out of it, and I didn't mind that nobody died. People were complaining about that, and I was okay with that. But what about you?
And if you got spoiled by that, and
It's not spoiled. We're gonna make a break.
Okay.
We're gonna give people an option to skip this part.
But if we don't, then you can skip to this time for the non-spoiler part. But
No, why not? Do your spoiler thoughts real quick.
okay, like that whole part where we thought Peter Quill was about to die. I'm like, why was that? That wasn't really needed. It just kind of teased us, and like they wanted us to think someone was gonna die in this movie.
Yeah.
and then him to like get his his music. I'm like, that's how he died. I was like, he could have died saving someone, but he was trying to save his music, and then I was like, wow, he really just died for that. And that's where I was like, this movie was good until that part, and I was just like, don't tell me he just died right now.
I feel like it recovered when he wasn't dead.
Yeah.
Like I feel like for me, I was like same
But
thing. I was like,
then
this is dumb.
why was that needed though?
So I feel like, and something I do respect, something that it's not done to this level as well. It's not as, in my opinion, as like it's entertaining, but it's not as good as Get Out. What I really loved is in the end of Get Out when he's like choking out the woman and the police car pulls up and then they open the door and it's just his friend from TSA. Like sometimes you can show a scene to give somebody the full experience of like, oh my gosh, how would I feel if that was, I mean, it was so much more powerful in Get Out because it like had so many more implications and that whole film was just, higher stakes in so many ways. But in Guardians, it was, I feel like they were like putting you through the emotions. They're like, we want you to experience losing Peter. And then they're like, but we're not going to have him lose over music.
But why did they choose that? They could have had him like save one more kid or animal.
Because then you need the sacrifice. Because otherwise, if he lived, then it wouldn't be as valuable. So it's like, because then it's like, his sacrifice means something, and it would be, and then and then I'd have the issue if they saved him. If he saved somebody's life and pretend died and then didn't really die, I'd be like, you should just let him die. Like that was more. But when it's like the music, but granted, I don't like overall its inclusion. I don't know how necessary it was, but I like the fact that he didn't die over the music.
Yeah, I would have been mad.
Yeah, I agree. But all right, so obviously we can easily talk about anything and everything. We have lived together and just been friends for a long time. But I like to get to the origin there of this connection. So how did you and I connect? That you recall, and I'll share what I remember.
I think. Well, I know I met you in like a really big turning point in my life because it was within the time I was going to move back home to Chicago, and I was like really struggling at that point. I moved here to do YouTube. For a year and a half, I didn't do anything. And, I told my mom I would move back home to Chicago if I, didn't do anything in that year. And I literally did nothing. And I was running beach cleanups on the weekends. And our mutual friend, BC, went to a beach cleanup that I actually missed because I had work. So my friend was running it. And BC ended up inviting him to the Good Workhouse, a place like it was like a networking like
just like a hub to bring together creators and nonprofits, and just overall goodwill and good intentions and people who were drawn to doing good, with a focus on those two things.
So they had a night of nonprofits. That's where I met BC, Louis, and then I think I met you at this was 2020, right before the pandemic.
No way. It's only 2020?
January.
Bro, I feel, all right, wow, that's wild. Okay. I feel like it was longer, but yeah.
So we met briefly at the house after you did some spoken word. And then that following day was Valentine's Day, I think. No, we met one of those nights, and then we really talked on Valentine's Day when we went on the Do Good bus.
I feel like you surprised people, too. I was like, I don't. That's one thing I never saw come up in, like, my big brother. I feel like people dove into like my life and would just find random things that I did. I've never seen anybody post spoken word stuff, and so I feel like you probably just surprised some people. But multi-talented over here, multifaceted.
But yeah, you were doing good stuff before. We all volunteered. We went to like the senior
Valentine's Day bus.
Like spent time with some seniors, and we got on the bus and we were like literally throwing roses out. To strangers. Still have the vlog on it.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And that was one of the first days I, interacted with you because we started talking about Kobe Bryant. Because I was like right after he passed away. So, that was I remember that was one of our first conversations because I think I was wearing a Lakers hat, and then fast forward, we've lived together in 2 different houses and been friends since.
Yeah, I remember that. You came out to help me at Urban Saddles to shoot some content.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember the timeline? Like, we'd only just met one time or 2 times before that? I feel like it was very brief.
Yeah. That was like probably that was our first time we met, like, first time we met, like, outside of, like, a group setting.
Yeah.
And, you just messaged me on Instagram, hey, can you help me film this? And I was like, yeah, sure. And, I had not much going on, so that was like one of my first like freelance jobs, from staying here in LA. I think I missed out a whole part after the Good Work House thing. I was about to go back to Chicago.
Oh yeah.
Ended up staying here. That's a whole story. That's like I said, that was a whole turning point in my life. And the group of people I met at that house are the reason I'm still here.
Mm-hmm.
And and when I lost my job during COVID, I was working at a furniture store.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what am I gonna do? You know, we're not supposed to be going out. But then you messaged me on Instagram like, hey, like, I need help filming this. Can you help me out? And then I was like, yeah, sure. And then that was actually down the street from my grandma's house. So I was like, I know the place.
Yeah.
And so I went, and you know, and then we connected a little bit more, and then our friendship just slowly built over more interactions that, you know, we weren't supposed to be having during the pandemic. But
I would say that for the most part, we were being cautious.
yeah,
I think that we were pretty cautious and pretty.
Well, it's crazy. It's like we lived in a house with 15 people.
But that was intentional because of the fact that we were exercising caution in so many areas of our life. We're like, okay, if we're going to be separated from the world, we might as well make our home base someplace where we have community.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that was a big thing.
Yeah,
I want to get to the house.
Careful.
But real quick, I want to go back because so we meet like once or twice in these big group settings, and then I hit you up. And then I don't think you know this. When you came out to help me film at Urban Saddles, this nonprofit where I was working with them, helping them, and I was like, you know, I want to get them content. I think your Instagram name was like Keanu Media or something.
I think I have a separate Instagram.
Okay, whichever one it was. But it was something that didn't say Justin. And I legit, that whole day, thought your name was Keanu. I literally remember this. And I remember, and I feel like I figured out that it wasn't, but I was like, oh, shoot, that's his last name. But then I couldn't remember the first name. And I remember I was like, I had this literal thought that was like, wait, I don't even know this dude's first name. And
Dang,
he just
I didn't
came
know
out.
that.
I know. Yeah. And he came out here, and he's helped me film this stuff. And you brought like equipment, and were really helping us film a lot of stuff for this nonprofit, and just really put an effort. And I was like, what a like good guy. Like immediately, I was like, and I didn't know your full situation in terms of what you're doing, you're busy, not doing, or whatever. But I just remember that. I was like, I don't even know his first name. Apparently, I only know his last name. I don't even remember how I realized that, but I definitely picked it up at some point. And I was
It's okay.
like,
There was a pretty big gap between when we saw each other last.
no, for
Yeah.
sure. But I just remember that was the first time I was like, this is a good guy. I got to get to know him. I got to stay in touch. And I just want to, I mean, I thought it was funny that I didn't know. But then also just credit to just how quickly you're willing to go out of your way to help somebody. I think that's a really big testament to who you are, and I'm sure it did help that you weren't as busy back then, but but you still did it, and that's all the more time where you need to find other stuff to do, and instead of helping a stranger, and you did, and I appreciate it.
I mean, it's crazy how like it's been 3 years. It doesn't feel like it, but
Feels
like I
longer
said,
to
that
me.
was one of my that was one of my first like freelance jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm filming this podcast right now. If you guys don't know this, but
Filming a lot of stuff. Well, I want to get. I do want to get to that because I teased some of your accomplishments in the intro, but I want to go back to what you were saying as far as like this transition, because I feel like just in the time that I've known you, you've had multiple kind of transitional big pivot points in your life where, maybe there's a roller coaster of things going well for a second, then not going well or whatever. And in order of at least some of those key moments, so like that one that happened, what was the first one? So you lose a job at a furniture store. And then when do you gain traction? What was the first time you started getting traction as a content creator, a videographer, a film photographer? Like, what was the first thing that got you that bit of traction?
I think, if it's hard to say because it's at different levels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm talking the early levels. I'm talking in that
Yeah.
first year that was just like enough to keep you like, you know what? Because I've seen you since I've known you that you've had like moments where you're like, I don't know how I'm going to pay rent next month. And then another moment where you're like, flush with cash, and then another moment when you're back, and like, but these unsustainable times, unsustainable ups and downs, and now you're like in a pretty well established, sustainable place with, you know, just your business growing, and this is like, but I feel like you had the ups and downs moments. So like that, what was the first up where you were like, post furniture store, you had an up, and you're like, yo, I'm about to kill it.
I mean, I think I would say when our mutual friend Louis invited me to help him shoot for the new Sony A7S III at the time. And
Tell people who Louis is, because I think that's important.
Yeah,
if people don't know.
Louis, a lot of people know him as Fun for Louis on YouTube.
Louis Cole.
And he's somebody that I really look up to, and kind of took me under his wing for a while. And you know, I didn't have any followers like when.
But who's Louis? Tell the people who Louis is.
Louis
is a big deal.
Yeah, Louis is the grandfather of daily vlogs, and he
Casey Neistat.
He's the one that inspired Casey Neistat. He, you know, daily vlogged for years. He has like the day he met his wife, his current wife, on camera. Like, he daily vlogged, I think, for 6 years straight.
Wow.
Like every single day of his life. And he's been like vlogging his life since before YouTube. And a lot of people claim like, oh, I started vlogging on YouTube. And I don't think, you know, Louis gives himself enough credit, but he
does not.
He literally vlogged before, you know, YouTube was a thing. And he kind of like really inspires me, because something I believe in is that, you know, you get to live life twice through, you know, your photos and video. And, you know, he has like his whole life documented. And that's something I wish I did better of my life. And, you know, there's no one like Louis. Louis works really hard, and yeah, he's been like a mentor to me, a big brother, and
he's also one of the nicest people in the world.
He's
so nice.
Yeah,
crazy nice.
Yeah, it's not
kind.
Yeah, it's a privilege to have him in like your circle. He's just a really good guy, and you know, someone that we can like talk about movies and play video games with. Like, he's just a cool guy.
Yeah. Okay, so you got a gig with Louis doing what?
So he is a Sony ambassador, and he was shooting for the new Sony A7S III, and that was like a highly anticipated camera. Every single filmmaker, like on the YouTube level or just like social media level, was waiting for this camera. And he out of nowhere messaged me saying, "Hey, can you help me film this video?" And I was just like, "This is crazy." And
how did he find you?
We met at the Good Work House through BC.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, he's like one of the first like, you know, big YouTubers I worked with. And, you know, I'm not somebody that's like starstruck or anything like that, but I knew who Louis was, and it was just crazy that he was asking me for my help. And I didn't, like I said, I didn't have any following, and then just for him to want to help me out, and, you know, the conversations we were having, I'm like, oh, this is somebody like I want to be friends with. Like, he's just such a cool guy. And, you know, everyone in that house was cool. And that's where I kind of just saw hope, because in a whole year and a half, like, I didn't see LA, you know, the way that I wanted it to. And it was like very much like the Hollywood crowd, like going out and partying. I wasn't about that. So like, I didn't resonate with the people I met here. And it was a lot like very transactional relationships. And, you know, I didn't feel that from Louis. Like, he like was just someone that I could be friends with, you know, and not talk about work or stuff like that. And I think meeting him and right there gave me a lot of hope. And although it wasn't like a paid job or anything like that, but it gave me hope that, you know, I'm in this space, because YouTube is my dream, and it has been for a long time. That gave me hope. And then when he asked me to move into the beach house, when him and BC asked me to move into the beach house, and, you know, you move there too, that's where I feel like I gained a lot of traction, because it pushed me to make more. And, you know, I had good months, but it was a lot of learning, because at the furniture store, I wasn't making enough money either. Like, I still have a paycheck for like $190 still. I have it saved just to look back on. And yeah, it showed me that I can do this. And the year and a half where I thought I couldn't, I was like, what did I do? I dropped out of college, and I felt like I failed. And through that chapter, it was very scary for me, because everything was moving so fast. But you know, rents went higher, and it really pushed me to like, all right, I need to figure out how I can make money with my camera. And you know, not everything is about money, but that's where I kind of gained traction with, I guess, starting to believe in myself. And then I guess fast forwarding, it's been ups and downs of getting traction. And I think from doing it on your own, you also have to learn. Like if you're not going to college, you need to learn how to like manage your money. You need to learn how to run your business correctly. Like no more handshake deals. Like get that stuff on contracts. And you know, I don't know, like if you want to hear like the rest of it, but this was last year.
Yeah, please.
In Korea. After I went to Korea, that was my first solo international trip. And, you know, things were going well. I had my job, and I felt that was the happiest I ever felt because I felt like I was doing YouTube for like full time finally. And although I didn't have many subscribers, I felt happy because I was in a routine. I was doing daily vlogs while I was in Seoul, which was awesome. I was editing for my friend Spence. And then, you know, but that took away from time from shooting in person and making some extra money. And when I got back, you know, I had a couple clients get COVID and shoots got canceled. And, you know, I had cancellation after cancellation. I'm like, what's going on here? And then I had to pay rent, and all my bills kind of took the rest of the money I had. And my bank account actually went to negative, and that's something I haven't really told much people. Now it's on a podcast. But that was last year, July.
It's just the truth.
Yeah, it's the truth. And, you know, that's who I am on YouTube is I want to be transparent and be someone relatable and not just, oh, how is he making his money? Like, no, I've worked for every single dollar I've made here in Los Angeles with my camera. And, you know, I just wasn't running my business right. And that's where our mutual friend, Craig, like, really helped me out. And just was giving me, like, really truthful advice of things I was not doing right. And, you know, like, my friend Sorrel, she was telling me, she's like, there's no reason you shouldn't be making this much amount, like, this much a month with your camera. Everyone needs video. And I was literally pricing myself at such low prices for a tremendous amount of work. I was feeling super stressed. And yeah, I just started listening to the advice, becoming a student again, and not like dropping my ego a little bit and listening to the things that I was doing wrong. And, you know, it's a learning process.
Yeah.
And so as soon as I started to listen and gain more confidence into what I'm doing and really took the next step into believing myself and really coming with a game plan instead of thinking just a month ahead, but thinking a lot further on how I can, you know, monetize my life to be able to do the things I love. You know, I'm not doing this for, you know, fancy clothes or anything like that. I'm doing this, one, to help my family, and then two, to be able to do YouTube and travel the world and, you know, tell stories and inspire people to get out of their hometowns or their comfort zones. And there's a lot into it. And then money is just a tool. So I think it's just been this whole past few years has been nothing but learning, and has been a lot of tough times, but that a lot of people will fall under those like tough times and just like, oh, life's just hard. No, it's like when you're lifting weights. When you lift heavier, your muscles are going to get bigger, right? Yeah. But if you continue lifting light weights, you know, you might condition, but you might maintain and stay the same. But you know, you're not going to grow bigger if you're not pushing yourself.
Yeah, you're facing bigger challenges and thus gaining results. Like exercising is a great example because you're gonna try and lift a weight that's heavier and you'll fail. you can't, that's what working out is. It's just working the muscles to failure and then allowing them to repair and grow and feeding them properly and everything and doing that consistently. And I think that's definitely something I've seen in you is a lot of work ethic, a lot of hustle, and just pushing through so many different moments. And I want to get to that, but there's so many things. I feel like one thing that I found interesting is you highlighted for me early on a connection that people, like, you know, I'm like mid-millennial. I think millennials are like 85 to 95 is like the normal rate, the most traditional like term. And I'm like right in the middle. And I think you're a very mature person. You're younger than me by a good amount. And one thing that you made me aware of is how much you came up in on YouTube in terms of like your entertainment, how much YouTube you're watching, how like, you know, even more than a lot of traditional celebrities like you in shows. I remember you were telling me, like, am I saying that right? Is that like, where did your connection with YouTube come into play first? And how'd that get so deep? Like, what were you watching? How young? How often?
I think, you know, I played a lot of video games, and I didn't, like, all my life I've had pretty bad social anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
And I did get bullied a little bit. So, like, I remember going to the park, and I loved basketball, and I literally didn't try out to the basketball team for these reasons. I literally went to the park, and they're like, "Who invited you?" and stuff like that. And, you know, school
This is a park near where you grew up.
Yeah.
Which was Compton.
No. This was
Chicago.
This was Chicago.
Chicago.
But this isn't a good. This is a good. No. I was born.
The family.
Yeah. My mom. I would say my mom's from Compton. I'm not from Compton.
Mom's from Compton.
Like, I lived there, but.
Right. So so you're growing up. Let's rephrase that. So you're growing up where? Where this is happening?
So I was born here in LA, but raised in Chicago.
Yeah.
In a good neighborhood.
Okay.
But
immediately bullied.
Well,
first time you went out to a basketball court.
Elementary school, people bullied me for having an accent because I didn't know English until I was 4, and so I always had like a little slight accent. Mm-hmm. I lost that, you know, the more English I spoke.
Yeah.
So I got bullied for that. I got bullied for, you know, basketball. People would just talk crap, and you know, people were just mean in the Midwest for no reason. And YouTube was kind of like where I got home and where I felt like I had a community, because you feel a connection with whoever you're watching.
Yeah.
And, you know, my best friends I met on Xbox. Like, they're my virtual best friends, my best friends till this day. And with YouTube, I got the same feeling. Like, that's where my community is. I'm watching someone and it's kind of sad. They kind of feel like my friend.
I mean, it's not sad.
They feel relatable.
True.
They feel relatable.
Yeah.
And TV is entertaining, but it didn't provide me value. And
I mean, at least these people. I mean, you say it's sad, and I get what you mean, but at the same time, at least YouTube, it's like, oh, even if they're just broadcasting, they still can at least see your comment and like your comment, which is a little bit of back and forth actual engagement. Even if they don't see it, they can read them. They can see what you're doing. They can see you watching it. I mean, if you go to shows, like, people became obsessed with shows and building relationships with characters that A, aren't even real, and then B, have no way to communicate back with you. So, like, I think it definitely makes sense.
Yeah, I think one of the first channels that really, like, got me into YouTube was Smosh, and they're, like, you know, the kings of YouTube back in the day.
Crew.
And I remember, like, I had French class, and I would try to make these skits because we had, like, these video projects. And so I made, like, a video skit. Like, I remember for social studies, we get to make a video. I made that into a skit. Like, I don't make skits today, but like, that's where I started off. Like, I wanted to make funny videos. I think at the back of my mind, you know this, I'm very, like, shy at first, but if I can make the room laugh, that's where, like, I open up. Like that game night. Like,
so secretly funny though.
Yeah,
because you sneak up on.
Yeah, I mean, if you were to just meet me, you might think, oh, that dude's kind of, like, boring, like, he's quiet, but, like, or he's kind of weird. Like, no, like, as soon as if I can make the room laugh or something, that's when I open up. That's where I feel most comfortable. Because if I wasn't doing YouTube, I would. This is gonna be so random, but if I wasn't doing YouTube, I think I would be in culinary arts. Because one, I like, you know, pleasing people. I like, you know, giving them good food. Like, if I have...
And you have a history in cooking.
I took a summer class for a graduation gift.
At where?
Le Cordon Bleu.
Yeah.
Yeah, ladies. You heard
Man cooks. Man cooks.
No, I kind of burned my food now. But
you forgot everything, basically.
No, I that's something I would go back to school for.
Okay.
I want to start taking classes again just to learn something new. And but overall, like, I like being a good host. I love entertaining people, like, with game nights. I like, you know, I like making people laugh.
Well,
and
I don't think
you
you've
know,
ever invited me to a game night, but that's fine.
You're always gone.
That's fair.
You're always on You're always on reality TV shows, playing real life games.
Continue. Sorry.
But yeah, I like entertaining people, and yeah. So like whenever I make a good if I made a meal for my family, like I don't know, I like to see that I made good food, and if I didn't, I'm like, oh, I tried. But same thing with my YouTube videos. Like I hope that somebody's watching and can feel, good watching it, or feel, related. Like not. I hope someone can watch my videos and not feel the way that I did when I was in school, not feel alone, or give someone a reason to smile or laugh. I think one of the most important things you can do for someone is help them forget for a little bit of what they're stressed or worried about. Because I think sometimes a good distraction can be very good for someone.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't always distract yourself. But if you're providing someone with value, and that's why I kind of wanted to do more lifestyle and travel vlogs rather than skits or gaming. The reason I lean towards that is because I feel like I could provide more value rather than just entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if I can show someone that I can do something that they can too, from someone that moved here to Los Angeles with $400 in their bank account to, where I am today. Or I have a series coming up because, Kobe Bryant's one of my biggest idols.
Mm-hmm.
I just got this tattoo, and I had the idea of what if I train like Kobe Bryant for 30 days straight. Like I want to be able to do these series to really inspire people and show them that you can make progress if you really want to do something. You can leave your hometown and do whatever you want. Like, we have limited time, and I think a lot of us get distracted by the stress, and we're like, I got to pay my bills. And, I just want to show people that we can get ahead and be able to do the things that we want to do, and we can invest, our time and our money in ourselves. Because those are the two things that we invest in life. When we go to college, we're investing our time and our money, sacrificing, thousands of dollars, and 4 years, sometimes more on college. And, I took a different route. I'm not saying don't go to college, but I'm just saying don't do something because you think you're supposed to. Do whatever it takes to do the thing that you want to do in life. So that's what I'm trying to show on my YouTube channel. I'm sorry if I'm rambling, but it's kind of where I go in a loop of what.
Well, first off, that's the exact style of speaking that my brain follows very well, so that's perfect. Second, I love that you brought up Kobe because I know you and I have connected a lot about Kobe Bryant. I haven't always been a big follower of sports. I'm still not, but historically, the only athlete, like the only team that I ever really paid it even some attention to has been the Lakers. I grew up in, two-parent, my parents were divorced from the time I was born, so I grew up in both households. I went back and forth, and pretty much the only thing they agreed on was the Lakers. And so I just grew up, a big fan of Kobe, and just always have been such a big fan of his. And one thing recently, as I've been refining and working on my own content and directions, is I sat very recently and was like, okay, what is the thing that I could obsess about the way Kobe Bryant obsessed about basketball? Because, I love watching his interviews. I love watching him talk about his mindset. And he has, he talks about how he would have time, a good chunk of his life, obviously most of his life, where just everything that he did was about that vision of he was obsessed with basketball, how to get better. Everything that he would do was about that. And I was trying to decide that. And for me, I am figuring out exactly how to go about it. So this is a newer thought I had. But I said, what can I be obsessed about? The same way Kobe. And for me, and just the goals I have in my life are so spread out and varied, and I'm just open to different things happening. So I said, I wanted to make something that was manageable for me. So I was like, what could I look at for a 6-month period, a 3 to 6 month period, and apply that sort of obsession about. And I narrowed it down. I think that for me, I would say it's become sharing information and examples for how to be more compassionate in communication with people. I think that that is something that is very important to me, and something that I feel like something that I try and give others is compassion, in terms of how when I'm communicating, I want to listen and think about someone's actions and words in a compassionate way, give somebody the benefit of the doubt, And then even if the benefit of the doubt was wrong, and it's like, well, why did they act this way then? Even if they were trying to be mean, it's like, why? And because there's usually a reason. I feel like most people don't tend to, want to be evil or want to be unreasonable. Like there's usually something deeper behind it. And so that is something that I love about Kobe, is just being able to obsess about something and apply a work ethic to it and a focus and a drive. I'm sure those things for you, and you have this, hopefully we can get like a zoom in or something on the tattoo, because that's pretty sick. This
I got the Black Mamba logo. Some people were like, why'd you get the Tesla logo tattoo? I was like, what?
No, yeah, I never thought of that as a Tesla logo, but the untrained eye that doesn't realize greatness.
Yeah.
But what would you feel like is some of the ways that you feel Kobe really, connected to something in your heart, something in your mind that made you so obsessed with him?
I think it's definitely, the same thing, the work ethic. And I think Kobe Bryant was bigger than basketball.
Yeah.
He loved basketball. That's why he worked so hard towards it. And, when he retired, he's like, I want to,
tell stories.
I want to tell stories. And he wrote books. He even won an Oscar. Like,
I just found this out. He was writing ads before retiring.
Really?
Like, apparently he would randomly, like, he liked telling stories, and he liked telling stories about something. And so sometimes he would end up writing ads, and just nobody knew this.
Yeah. Well, that man was determined at whatever he wanted to do. And kind of my thought process, after, working for jobs that I was working really hard or being overworked, I'm like, what if I worked this hard towards the thing that I wanted to do?
Yeah.
And, I don't think there's much people who can be up to Kobe's level at all. And, that's why I want to challenge myself for 30 days. Like, can I train like Kobe Bryant and like become obsessed? It's also to like unlearn like bad habits.
Train at basketball or train just in fitness?
Just for physical health, and also discipline like in my work.
Got it.
And also on YouTube, because I'm going to be posting that as a series.
Yeah.
Because that's something I haven't been good on, is my consistency on YouTube. My own work still to this day.
Hey, many of us.
Yeah, the past few months I've been, working and learning how to like build my business to, gain sustainability, because I think that's a huge issue that a lot of us face, is like a financial burden, or like how are we going to pay our bills, and that kind of clouds our mind and kind of overtakes, the things that we want to do. And so something with Kobe Bryant is, again, the work ethic, and also the why. And that's why I have Be Legendary written above here, because in order to become a legend in something, because the only thing we get to leave behind is our stories, or leave behind how we impacted those around us. I want to be able to have an audience that I've impacted to and I hope that I've inspired people watching my videos and like, oh yeah, if he did it, I can do it too. Or, oh, if he went to that place, I want to go there too. Or like Kobe Bryant said something similar to what I said earlier about being a legend is inspiring those around you to be great at whatever they want to do, and something like that.
Yeah.
And I have it on my wall in my room. I should probably memorize it.
Probably read it more.
Yeah,
no,
probably,
I get it.
But yeah, it's basically that. And yeah, that's where I hope that I can become a good role model. And I think part of, me slowly working on YouTube is because I'm working on myself right now too. Because in order to be in front of the camera on YouTube, I want to make sure that I can be a good role model to whoever's watching.
Yeah.
And I'm not a perfect person. I have dealt with my anger issues too, especially like someone who's been bullied. Like, you don't fight fire with fire.
Yeah.
And I just want to become a better person, a better version of myself, and work on that every single day.
Yeah.
And so that I can, really be a good role model. So right now, like, I don't think I could be like a Louis to someone else. Like, I think if I want to get to that point to have like a TED Talk one day, that's one of my goals, have a TED Talk. If I were to be a good enough person to become a mentor to someone, like, I understand there's things I need to work on. And so that's why I think right now I'm in a perfect timing of not rushing into my YouTube channel, but genuinely working on myself, physically and mentally. So that's what I'm trying to do right now.
No, that's huge. I mean, I know we're deep in this because I feel like, we've lived together 2 different times. We've known each other for years, and just, I think living together just speeds up relationships so much. I feel like it's easy. That's why it blew my mind when you said like 3 years. I'm like, I feel like I know so much more about you, and I'm so closer to you than like people I've known for years.
You finally know my name.
Yes, finally know your name. Jonathan. Close enough. No. But I was thinking about how, we can dive in so many things, but I don't want to, one thing I get to ask everybody that I want to ask you, and maybe we've already talked about it, and that's fine. What's the most significant, important connection in your life that, that's had the most impact, that is something that has, fundamentally changed your life or drives you, someone you're connected to?
Connection? Like to a person or?
Person, passion, thing. I mean, maybe like I said, maybe it's something that we talked about. Maybe it's something else.
I mean,
YouTube could be a person.
Like almost like a core memory, right?
Yeah, yeah, sure. I mean, but just it could be anything. It could be a relationship. It could be a story. It could be a place. Like, that's what I love about connection, is that it is open. Because connections can come in so many different forms. So whatever that means to you, I'm curious. Something that you feel is a connection.
I mean, there was this one recently that was really cool.
Okay.
I was just in Tokyo in February.
Yeah.
And then it kind of went full circle. I don't know if you saw my post about where I recreated the picture of my mom.
With your mom, yeah.
So my mom was pregnant. I was still a baby inside her stomach. And she has a picture there standing in front of the Imperial Palace.
Yeah.
And I went to that exact spot. Well, not the exact spot because it was closed inside. I couldn't get inside the wall, but still took a picture in front of like a similar building outside. And that was just really cool. And just diving deeper into like my mom's story and how that kind of goes full circle. My mom was like a solo traveler before like social media. She was jumping off waterfalls, going whitewater rafting, riding on horses, and like through New Zealand and stuff. Like, she was an adventurer. Like,
yeah.
Like till this day, like I have trouble jumping off a waterfall. Like, my mom was just doing that, like living life, coming from Compton,
while also building a very successful career.
Yeah. I think as kids we don't really look at what our parents have done for us. I think as you grow older you start to see that. Definitely. And I was definitely a difficult kid. I had a lot of attitude, talk back, and I apologize to my mom till this day. I'm like, Mom, I'm sorry. But my mom, she came from Compton. She grew up, born and raised in Compton, had a really tough life. And, a lot of my family's still there. And my mom, she wanted more. She wanted to get out of that. Yeah. And she wanted to, she tells me this story that someone from when she went to high school, not sure if it was a counselor or a teacher, but told her, she's not going to go far, that, she's just going to be stuck in Compton. That was kind of like a parallel to me when I first started YouTube in college. Yeah. Like, me and my mom have like these parallels. Like, my mom, like, I would say I lived a privileged life because anything compared to what my mom went through in Compton is privileged. And I'm very thankful that my mom worked that hard to get us to that point. Because I know my life would be very different if I was raised in Compton. The parallel I was about to say is that when I was in college, when I started my vlogs, they saw me carrying around my camera, filming. They're like, "Oh, what are you doing?" Like, "Oh, I'm doing vlogs on YouTube." They're like, "Oh, why?" I'm like, "Oh, that's what I want to do. Like, I want to tell stories that way." And my counselor would always tell me, you got to think about the money. Like, YouTube is not a job. Like, I guess that was 2017, so people didn't really know. And I wasn't even thinking about the money. I was like, I told my counselor this quote. I said, "I think life is the greatest story we can tell." And that's one of my mottos on my YouTube channel. And my mom, she basically told the counselor, "Watch me." And she's, like I said, she did solo travel all by herself around the world. She would go on, she got a job that she wasn't supposed to at 18 at United and worked her way up, like all the way up high in corporate. Yeah. And just retired. She worked so hard for that. She said that she was worried when I moved back to LA because she was like, "I worked so hard for you to like get out of there." And she just didn't want me falling back, like in, she wanted me to do something with my life, especially dropping out of college. So I understand now to this day. She was just worried, and she cares. But when I got to that point in Tokyo, I was like, well, I'm like, now I'm doing the solo traveling. Like, this is my turn. I'm telling my story now. And yeah, I wouldn't be standing there if it wasn't for my mom. I think I could just attribute a lot to learning from my mom's work ethic, from Kobe's, from, just learning from those around me and just wanting more for yourself. And it's okay to be a little selfish, because in order to pour into other people's cups, you got to pour into yours. So you got to do what you want to do in life. And, that's exactly what my mom did. She wanted to travel, before she had kids and built a family. She faced a lot of adversity, and she poured into her own cup, traveled, and now she gave that, to me, my sisters, and other people in my family.
Yeah.
So I think that's like a connection I have, a connection with my mom.
One thing I would say, one of the favorite quotes that it sounds like isn't as, maybe half of it's not as relevant, but someone said, most children spend their lives waiting for their parents to say sorry, and most parents spend their lives waiting for their children to say thank you. And I think that, you mentioned that you tell your mom sorry a lot. I hope you tell her thank you, because she's great, and she's clearly done great. And I'm sure she'd love to hear that even more than sorry.
Yeah.
Despite how difficult of a kid I'm sure you were.
Thank you. Dad, thank you.
Parents, mom, dad, Gil.
Grandparents, thank you.
Thank you. I agree. Thank your parents. Now go out there, thank your parents. Thank your parent figures, older siblings, wherever they are, mentors. Okay, so moving, wrapping up what is going to have to be part one, because we're going to have to do more of these conversations, because I feel like there's so many. I'm still stuck on the Michael Bay, Christopher Nolan thing. I need to come back to that. But
I got a question for you. When are we traveling together?
Oh, that's a good question. Maybe this fall we can go somewhere. I think we should. I feel like that would be fun. That'd be real fun. Especially you're becoming a professional traveler, so you have all the tips for me. I don't think I want to sleep in one of those pods.
Let's go to Egypt.
Okay. All right. But Egypt would be.
You heard it here, folks.
Egypt. Stay on the lookout. Oh man, we could do some cool things in Egypt.
Yeah.
Definitely want Egypt. Okay. Love that. So now looking forward, you've made all these connections. You've been continually, doing amazing things. I'm very proud of you. What's a connection to a person, place, thing, passion, whatever, that you are looking forward to or in current process developing for yourself?
That's a really good question. I would say when I was looking forward to was Kobe Bryant. Like, that's something I always told myself.
Yeah.
I know your guest earlier said the same thing, but that's something I truly believe that, I've seen him in person, like at basketball games, but I remember going to his last game in Chicago with my dad, and I was like, I'm going to meet him one day. Like, I want to play basketball with Kobe. And, unfortunately I can't, but I would probably want to connect with, this is not the same genre, but I think PewDiePie.
Okay. All right.
Because he's another YouTuber I really looked up to.
Okay.
Because I think he's always genuinely been himself. And he, grew to like the biggest YouTuber. Well, not anymore, Mr. Beast, but, PewDiePie had his time. And I just think he's a really cool guy. And YouTube is, my passion. And so someone like PewDiePie is a legend in that space. Yeah. And someone I really looked up to. And, people don't credit him enough. He's uploaded almost every single, not recently, he technically retired from YouTube, but for a while, for almost like 10 years straight, he was uploading every single day. Yeah. And, but another one would be Casey Neistat. I have his camera. Casey, I want to give you back your camera. I got it from Louis. Louis had his camera.
Of course.
So I'm just trying to figure out how to give him his camera back. And
Louis, hit up Louis, tell him to hit up Casey.
Yeah.
We have the connection.
Yeah. Casey Neistat, I have your camera. And I have a clip from like...
Sounds like a ransom. You're like, Casey Neistat, no. I have your camera.
I have your camera, but I want to give it back to you. I have a clip from one of my first vlogs in New York,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, Casey Neistat, I will make a video with you one day. Like I will make a movie or something. Like I don't know.
I mean, what if you just make some sort of epic story about getting him his camera back?
That could be something.
could
I'm
be
still trying
it.
to I'm still trying to figure it out.
It's right there. It's right there. We haven't
Yeah.
figured out. We just gotta shoot it. That's right there.
Yeah.
Find out where he is.
Find out where Casey Neistat, where you at. But he's someone I really admire.
Deliver the ransom note, and
Yeah, he's really someone I admire because he
awesome.
kind of like, Louis like really brought up like daily vlogs, but Casey Neistat like
yeah, true.
showed how you can really bring in like filmmaking into YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
and I think Casey's like a true filmmaker and like kind of along the lines of what I want to be with the life is the greatest story you can tell.
Yeah.
I think Casey Neistat retired right now, but I don't know. I don't see myself ever retiring from YouTube. Maybe because I don't have a family yet.
Mm-hmm.
Casey Neistat has family, but like I want to do that one day. And right now, it's not my time yet for daily vlogs or anything like that. But that's something I really admire. Like I want to be able to tell a story and be able to inspire people through my life, and so that people can implement all that to theirs. Because I'm not somebody that was born with natural talent. Like it's either I'm bad at it or I spend a lot of time trying to get good at it. So.
Well, you've gotten very good at a lot of things, and like I said, I feel like even though it's been such a short time, I think living together, that proximity, that amount of time together, I've gotten to see you grow up so much in so many different ways, both in terms of like on the mental health side, on the professional side, on the just personal side, as far as like, just how you interact with people and how you inspire people, how you talk. I'm proud of you.
What do you think changed most from day one from you met?
I mean, confidence, I think, is huge. I think that, I think it's confidence plus,
Don't
I think
work on it.
openness. I think openness. I think that you felt maybe a little bit more closed off probably towards people. And I think that, if somebody didn't talk to you, like they might think that you're closed off or something. And now I don't think you give that energy. I don't think that you, and also I think consciously you're not closed off too. I don't know whether or not you were closed off then. I'm sure you were a little bit, but I just feel like you give off and you give an open energy, a kind energy. And for sure the confidence is in there also, that you're just more confident about who you are and what you're doing. And I've always, I've for sure respected and admired that.
Yeah, just been trying to challenge myself. I will say, before, I think I had a defense up because, like I said, the first group of people I met out here was like the Hollywood crowd, and they would ask me to hang out. They're like, "Oh, you didn't bring your camera?" I'm like, "What? I thought we were just hanging out," And then and now I think it's just, how do I talk? So it's like, still trying to learn how to talk.
Yeah.
So, still kind of socially awkward. But as soon as I can make someone laugh, like it's cool. And like I challenged myself in Korea, did a road trip with a stranger.
You did.
And then this time I'm going to Tokyo again in 2 or 3 days.
Man.
One of my goals is to have dinner with a stranger there.
Okay. Dinner with a stranger in Tokyo.
Yeah.
All right. Well, people got to stay on the lookout. Justin, where can they find you? What's the channels? What's the spaces?
It's Justin underscore Keanu on Instagram, TikTok, and on YouTube. It's Justin Keanu.
Justin Keanu. We'll have all the links below, everything. Like I said, Justin, I can sing your praises and my appreciation for you. So I just really appreciate you, not just filming my podcast and so many other things, but just your friendship and all the ways that you inspire me and help me grow, and and just how our own connection, how special it is really to me. And when you said 3 years, it's so crazy to me because it does feel so much longer. And I'm thankful for it. And thank you for coming. I appreciate you. I love you. And
Love you too, man. I thank you for always seeing me, and like even when I was very closed off, like you always, had space and talked to me, and like
I saw it. I had to
Yeah.
pull you out. I can see. And I'm glad. And I'm excited for you, all the things you're doing, these trips, and then our trip to Egypt or somewhere very soon. Stay on the lookout for that. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for joining us. Thank you, Justin, for connecting with me. And please, comment below. Let us know, your favorite parts. Let us know what trips besides Egypt or in addition to Egypt. What should we do in Egypt? What other trips should we do? And really appreciate you being here. Like, share, subscribe, all the things.
Notification bell.
All these things help out the channel so much. Follow all of Justin's stuff. And thanks so much for spending this time with us. And thanks for connecting.
Thank you.